Well, everyone, welcome back to a very exciting episode of the Storybox podcast. Today, my friends, I'm delighted to welcome Seiler Tucker. Now, for those of you that don't know who she is, I got it right this time. She is the author of Exit Rich, the 6P method to sell your business for huge profit. She is the founder and CEO of Seiler Tucker Incorporated. She has sold hundreds of businesses to date and currently owns and operates several successful businesses as well. She is leading authority on buying, selling, and improving businesses, as well as increasing business revenue streams. She often posts about these topics on the company's business blog as well. She has a huge resume that I won't get into for the sake of time, but Seiler Tucker, welcome so much to the Storybox podcast today.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I apologize in advance for butchering your middle name there.
That's okay.
But we got there eventually. I'm really excited to dive into your story today and really uncover why you decided to write this particular book, Exit Rich, in the first place. But before we do that, I have one question I love starting off all my conversations with, which is, what does success look like for you?
So success for me really means that I can do anything I want to do when I want to do it. Plus, it means that, my husband's happy, my husband's healthy and happy, my daughter's healthy and happy. And that it also means that I've helped save business owners from going out of business. I've helped business owners to maximize the sale of their business. I've helped them from selling for pennies on the dollar. I've kept them from going out of business. I kept them from going out of bankruptcy. Success means to me really impacting others and helping as many business owners as I possibly can along the way.
When was the moment for you that you realized this was success for you in making an impact and helping people and businesses? Was it this catalyst moment for you, or is it sort of like this gradual thing over time that you've realized?
No, I think I realized it, quite early on. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always owned many different businesses. I did start a franchise consulting and development business. And I knew very on that I was good with people. I was a good problem solver. I'm very solution oriented, and I'm great at sales. In fact, my nickname is the closer. So, I helped franchisors build their business by selling franchises. I've helped business owners sell their business for maximum value. So I always knew that I was good at negotiations. I'm a great people person. I'm a great problem solver. I kind of always knew that. But for me, success is not final. Success is always ongoing. I always have different benchmarks that I'm trying to meet. So success is never final to me.
So what, in your opinion, makes a great closer?
Well, I think a great closer is somebody that, number one, shuts up.
Good point. Yep.
People talk too much, and you can't really close anything or sell anything to anybody unless you really understand the person that you're trying to sell to, understand their wants, understand their needs, understand, their pain points, etc., and let them do the talking and then find a solution. What makes a great closer is somebody who listens and talks a lot less, somebody who listens and listens intently, not just listens, but really, really listens intently. Somebody who can dig deep and really find out, what's going on. Because a lot of times clients don't know what they want. They don't know what they need. We have to figure it out for them. So somebody who can dig deep, ask the right questions, get to the bottom, of the problem, get all the answers and come up with solutions that are designed with the customer experience in mind, not solutions for your own agenda. Don't try, I hate it when salespeople try to sell you something just because they're going to get a commission off of it. I think a good closer really it's somebody that really cares about the client more so than anything.
How long does it normally take you to close somebody? Is it a big process or a long process?
We're talking about completely different sales. Selling businesses is a long sales cycle. Sometimes it can be Sometimes we can speed up the process depending upon the seller, depending upon the buyer. But all in all, it's a long process. And you're not just closing one person. First, you got to close the seller on moving forward to either build his business to sell or get him to agree to sell, or him or her. And so that's one closing. You got to sell the seller, the business owners. Then what do you got to do? Then you got to find the buyers. Then you got to close the buyer on giving you an LOI and negotiating. And then you got to go through due diligence. And then you got to close on the attorneys. You got to close on the CPAs. You got to close, on the lender. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of players in the cycle. So it's not just, oh, I'm going here to sell you a copier and I'm done. And it's a long sales cycle. And it's not just about sales. It's really all about education, because most businesses are not going to sell. As Steve Forbes says, 80% of businesses will never sell. And Steve Forbes endorsed my book, Exit Rich. So there's a lot of education. There's a lot of fixing, a lot of growing the business. We don't just sell businesses. We specialize in buying, selling, fixing, growing. And so there's a tremendous amount of work that has to go in to selling a business.
I can imagine, because we were just speaking a moment ago about how, when I was reading the book, I didn't really think about, selling a business in the first place. And you said not many people do. And I've always been curious, why isn't that the case? Why don't people want to, quote, sell their business?
Well, because it's their mindset. Business owners don't think about their business as their valuable asset. Business owners think of their business as their baby. This is my baby. I'll never sell my baby. Your business is not your baby. Your babies are at home. I always say, go home, hug them, love them, kiss them. Your business is your most valuable asset. So they have to treat it as such. But most business owners don't look at their business as an asset. Most of them have created a glorified job in which they go to work every day versus a business that actually works for them. And they're not planning. They're working in their business, not on their business. And they're not planning for the sale of their business because they think, oh, I'm never going to sell my business. It's a cash cow. It's a lifestyle business. It's this or that. And then guess what happens? Life happens. Life happens. Catastrophes happen. So they get, there's partners, there's things that come up, internal or external. Internal could be, all of a sudden, wow, they were just diagnosed with cancer. Or a partner died, or there's partner disputes, divorce, something like that. I had a lady call me from Texas not too long ago. Husband dropped dead of a heart attack, left her with a mountain of debt. And she wanted me to sell his business. He didn't have a business. He had a job that he had built for the last 20 years with no employees, only some contractors, no processes, didn't operate on what we call the 6 Ps in Exit Rich. So he really had nothing to sell. So I couldn't help her. And business owners have to start changing their mindset. They have to work on their business, not in it. They got to start planning their exits, start planning their business with the end in mind. Like Stephen Covey says, you brought up Stephen Covey earlier, start planning the business, start with the end in mind. And that's what we work with business owners to do in Exit Rich.
So why is it the case? Or pretty much what I want to ask now is what if someone is passionate about their business currently and it's not a job for them, do you still recommend that they sell their business?
No, what I recommend is that you follow the advice in Exit Rich and you build a business that is sustainable, that you can scale. And when you're ready, you can sell. I do recommend that you follow the GPS exit model because business owners don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. The GPS exit model is a plan to sell. And if you follow this plan, and let's say you decide you want to sell in 10 years for $20 million, and you get to year 11 and you're worth $25 million, and you decide to keep it, so what? At least you got a great, sustainable, scalable business that is sellable when you're ready and a lot more profitable. The problem that I'm trying to explain to all these business owners that drives me crazy is that these business owners are not thinking about their business. They're not setting their family up for success. This gentleman that was in business for 20 years never built a business. He had a glorified job. So he left his wife is going to have to file bankruptcy. I'm sure that's not what he intended for her. So we really walk our business owners through what we call the GPS exit model. And number one, you got to figure out what's your destination. When you want to drive somewhere, what do? You pull out your phone, you go to Google Maps, and what's the first thing you plug in?
Your destination.
Your destination. If you don't plug in your destination, what happens to you?
You get lost.
You get lost. You don't go anywhere. You drive around in circles. That's what happens to business owners. They have zero destination. So they drive around in circles and drive up the financial hills to end up nowhere. So we're really working with business owners to say, okay, let's figure out our destination. What is our end game? What's our desired sales price? Pick a number. So many business owners get hung up on a number. And I'm like, Jay, it's just a number. You can adjust it up or down. So let's say you want to sell your business for $10 million. Boom, there's a number. Now, what's the GPS exit model need to know? It needs to know, where are you starting from? What is your current location? And in other words, what is your current evaluation? What is your business worth today? Now, Jay, I don't know if you know this, but most business owners, especially in America, have never had their business evaluated. I met with a gentleman the other day. He's been in business for 40 years. That is financial suicide. We go to the doctor once a year to get an annual checkup. We take our car to the mechanic once a year to get a tune-up, but we don't take our prized possession, our most valuable asset, which is our business, and get an annual valuation checkup. You need to do that yearly because there are events to increase valuation, there are events to decrease valuation. This pandemic is a perfect example of that. So let's say you want to sell for $20 million, you're currently worth $5 million. Then the next thing the GPS exit model needs to know is time frame. Let's say you want to do this in 10 years. Great. Now you need to know, who are my buyers going to be? Now notice I say buyers, Jay, because so many clients to me say, Michelle, I already have the buyer. I just need you to represent me with that one buyer. And I'm like, no, I won't do it. And the reason I won't do it is because I have to go in, I have to evaluate your business. I can guarantee you the business is not running on all 6 cylinders. So I'm going to have to fix it and grow it as I go. I'm going to have to clean up your financial house. I'm going to have to start getting all the due diligence items together, get them in a data room. That takes a long time, a lot of work. And then I can promise you that one buyer is probably going to not close on the sale of your business. And you have no backup buyers. So the only way I would do that is if I'm allowed to continue to market the business, bring backup buyers. Plus, we can never maximize value if we have one buyer. And there's 5 different types of buyers. But you can see this plan, it's a plan, So if you say, okay, I want to sell for $20 million, 5 types of buyers. First time, 90% of buyers are first-time buyers. You're not selling to them, so you can roll them out. They buy coffee shops, restaurants, ice cream stores. They don't buy $20 million companies. Then you got turnaround specialists. They're not buying a $20 million business, so you can roll them out. Then you have PEGs, private equity groups. They buy based on platforms and add-ons. So let's say they want to get into the healthcare space. They won't even look at a company in the healthcare space for less than $3 million in EBITDA. EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. If they already have that platform, then they'll look at smaller companies under $1 million in EBITDA. And then the 4th type of buyer is strategic/competitors. They buy synergies. Jay, they pay the highest multiple. So these are your best buyers because they're buying synergies to catapult their business to the next level. And then the last type of buyer, I call them storm chasers because they are serial entrepreneurs. They chase cash and they're industry agnostic. So now that you have your plan, you have to reverse engineer it and say, okay, well, if I want to sell for $20 million, where's the revenues need to be? The COGS, operating expenses. Most importantly, where does the EBITDA need to end up at? If you want to sell for $20 million, the EBITDA is going to have to be around $4 million, depending upon your synergies. And then you ask yourself, what are the characteristics? What are the synergies that these buyers are looking for and willing to pay top dollar for and outbid everybody else on? And then you build your business to meet their specific criteria. It's just like when someone starts a business, Jay, here's their widget, here's their direct market, right? So they're like, this is my direct market, this is my widget. They do everything to be able to really meet this direct target market specific needs and criteria. Your business is your widget. These are your buyers. You should be building your widget to meet their specific criteria. And let's say that you build this $20 million business, you got over $4 million in EBITDA. 10 years is here. And you decide, well, I don't want to sell it right now. I want to keep building. Great. What do you have? A much better business. What did you win? A much better business that can operate without you, that's sustainable, that you can continue to scale, and it's making you a tremendous amount of money. Don't follow this. And what do you win? A business that is dependent upon you. So you have a job, not a business. And when you're ready to sell, because a catastrophic event occurs, you won't have a sellable asset.
This is why Steve Forbes actually calls the endorsement of Exit Rich a gold mine for entrepreneurs. You can obviously hear when you explain all that, if you're following along closely, why it actually is. What I'm curious about is if someone wants to pick up the book Exit Rich and, just start reading along, does Exit Rich give them the same plan and formula to go out there and find buyers for their own business? Or do they go out and seek someone like you, Michelle, to help do that for them?
Well, here's the deal. Yes, we're giving you all the meat and potatoes. We talk about the 5 different types of buyers. We talk about their negotiables or non-negotiables and how to negotiate with each type. But here's the deal. Most business owners don't know where those buyers are. And most business owners want to maintain confidentiality because they don't want their employees knowing they're selling. They don't want their customers knowing. They don't want their vendors, their landlords. They don't want everybody knowing that their business is up for sale because it can be detrimental. Employees get nervous. They get scared. And when they find out a business owner is selling, many of them will try to jump ship. Clients get nervous. So confidentiality is always our number one priority. It's very difficult to try to sell your business on your own, create a bidding war, maximize value, and maintain confidentiality. It's kind of like saying, I need heart surgery. Let me just cut my chest open, rip out my heart, and operate on myself. Yep.
Makes sense.
So you really need an advisor because the advisors know where the buyers are. The advisors know how to evaluate the synergies. The advisors know how to create bidding wars. They know how to create auctions. You really need an advisor to maximize the value of your business. Not saying you can never do it on your own, but even if you have your own buyer, like I said, you always want to have backup buyers just in case.
Good point. And talking about buyers and value and profit margins and all that sort of stuff, knowing how much your business is worth, who is the one that is the right sort of determinant when it comes to value, especially in a pandemic? Does the value of your business go up or does it go down? And who's the one that sort of determines that?
Well, so it depends upon the industry. Hospitality is down. Restaurants are down. Home goods are up. Manufacturing is up. Healthcare is up. Staffing is up. Like I said, anything home related is up. Real estate is way up. Yeah. So it really depends upon the industry if the value is going to be up or down. And then who determines that? Well, let's see. We determine what the valuation is going to be. Valuation is more of an art rather than a science because we don't just evaluate the numbers, the EBITDA. We also evaluate the business on the 6 Ps. We evaluate the synergies that business brings to the table. And we know what buyers are willing to pay top dollar for these certain synergies, right? We also know what buyers can take advantage of economies of scale because they already have an infrastructure and they can decrease cost. And we know what buyers can decrease infrastructure. Like we're selling a manufacturing company that has a $5 million distribution center. We have a buyer that has manufacturing, but has distribution all over the United States. First thing they're going to cut is that $5 million distribution center. That's going to cut $5 million from operating expenses and increase their EBITDA exponentially. So we determine, what that range is, that valuation is, whether it's increased or decreased. And And it's based on different methods. I mean, if a business did really, really good, there are some industries that had their best year ever during this pandemic. And they think they're going to get paid for that 1 year. No, you're not going to get paid for that 1 year unless that 1 year continues on. Unless it looks like you're projecting out for 2021 to be the same, if not better than 2020. Same thing with 2022. Otherwise, buyers are going to look at the last 3 years and they're going to consider 2020 as an anomaly. Same thing with an industry that's not doing well. We are stripping out 2020 for them, and we're basing things on 18, 19, and 2021. But to further illustrate my point and answer your question, at the end of the day, I have my value. Owners have their price in their mind. I have my value based upon over 20 years of experience, 1,000 deals later. But at the end of the day, who determines value? The buyer does. The buyer determines what that value means to them and what that value will do for their current company. Does that answer your question?
It does. I've always just wondered about, the buyer obviously determines what they're willing to pay for the kind of business, but you as the person being the one that sort of, it's your baby, right? So you are the one that sort of wants a particular amount. And you mentioned the hospitality industry, it's down, it's flat because of the pandemic. But if you still want your business to sell for a certain amount, is that still possible? Like, I've always been curious about that, especially in the kind of times that we are in. Like, if you, or still, once again, does that determine what the buyer is willing to pay for it?
It is what the buyer is willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
And what the seller is willing to accept.
Yeah.
Now, as an experienced M&A advisor, senior business analyst, and a bunch of other titles behind my name, I have a tremendous amount of experience that I'm really good at valuations. The way that I get my clients more than what their business is worth, on average, we get our clients 20 to 40% more than what the business is worth, is because I bring multiple buyers to the table, which creates a bidding war. Because if you got a good business, there are more buyers for good businesses than there are good businesses to buy.
Smart. I like
so
it.
when you have EBITDA under $1 million, there's going to be less buyers. When you have EBITDA over $1 million, there's a lot more buyers. There's 30.2 million businesses in the United States. A very small percentage of them actually have EBITDA of over $1 million.
So, Michelle, where can people buy your book right now? And before I ask the final two questions.
So I think it really depends upon where you live, because shipping cost is outrageous. So if you live anywhere outside the United States, I suggest that you go on Amazon and buy the book. Anywhere outside the United States, go to Amazon. If you live inside the United States, go to exitrichbook.com. Well, let me give you choices. If you live inside the United States, you can go to Amazon. You can go to your Barnes & Noble. You can go to your favorite bookstore, your favorite local bookstore, or you can go to exitrichbook.com. Now, exitrichbook.com, we have tons of bonuses that we're giving to everyone that buys our book. So if you buy it from Amazon, just send us the receipt. Or if you buy it from a bookstore somewhere else, just send us the receipt with your email address, contact information, and we will still give you all the bonuses. So let's talk about the bonuses. So in the United States, if you want to go to exitrichbook.com, $24.79 plus shipping in the United States. Outside, go to Amazon because it's less expensive for shipping. And we will email you the digital download copy, number one. Number two, we will send the hardcover to your doorstep. Anyone in the United States will give you a lifetime membership. So this is for everyone that orders the book and emails us your receipt. I'll give you a lifetime membership into the X Rich Book Club, where there's video content and we're doing training and some of these different techniques and strategies that I've been teaching on for the last 20 years in the field, plus documents to run your business and sell your business. So we have sample policy and procedure manuals, employee handbooks, non-compete agreements. We have sample LOIs, letter of intents, purchase agreements, due diligence, closing checklists, closing documents, all of that stuff that you need, all those documents you need to operate and sell your business are there for your review and download. Now, let me tell you something. These documents in America, I don't know about Australia, but these documents in America will cost you over $50,000 to recreate. Yeah. Because I'm a firm believer that attorneys charge by the word. And we will also give you a free membership into Club CEOs, a 30-day free membership into Club CEOs. So those are all the bonuses that wherever you buy the book, wherever works for you, whether it's Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your favorite bookstore, or exitrichbook.com, then we will give you all these bonuses.
That's amazing. I'll make sure everything is in the show notes when this does air for people to find. Okay, my final question for you, Michelle. This is my all-time favorite question I ask everyone at the end. It's a hypothetical one, but I want you to imagine with me for a moment that you've been able to reach the age of 100. All your friends and your family have decided to put together a film for you of everything you've ever said and everything you've ever done. Don't ask me how in the world they got it all. We'll just call it magic for sake of argument. But they've been able to get it and show it to you on your 100th birthday. What do you want that film to say and to show about your life?
I would love that film to show all of my clients, all of the clients whose businesses I help save, all the clients' businesses who I help sell, all of the buyers who I've worked with. And, I've helped buyers leave their jobs. I've helped them, buy a business of their dreams, create a better quality of life, have financial freedom. I would love it to show all of my clients, because my clients, that's my mission. That's my passion. That's my everything, other than my daughter and my husband, of course. And then I would just love it to show everybody that I've impacted along the way. And I would love it to show the success of my daughter, and that Arabella follows in mommy's footsteps. I don't know if she will, but I can hope.
Never know.
Yeah. And I would want it to show all my friends and family and this huge network of love around me.
Michelle Seiler Tucker, thank you so much for your time today, for your story, all your advice. I know it's going to help so many people out there. Go and get a copy of Exit Rich, but thank you so much for coming on the Storybox podcast today.
Thank you, Jay. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being with you.